Maplestory the Novel, Season 1, Sacred Tears. Written by Tatsumari Korisuno. Chapter 15, Declaration. Standing at her balcony railing, Ariel watched the galaxies and solar systems glide across the universe. Looking behind her, she spied Dane still asleep in her bed, remembering the feel of his touch on her wings and back. It was strange, but it felt as if Dane had filled the void in her soul that she had known for millennia. Turning back to the railing, she noticed a firmness in her lower stomach. Before she could question it further, Dane hugged her from behind, holding her to him.
Finally awake, are you?
Ariel asked softly, leaning against him and resting her hands on his.
That I am, Ariel.
Dane grinned, kissing her shoulder, resting his chin on it to watch the universe crawl by in a slow dance. With a satisfied sigh, he lowered his hands on Ariel's waist, feeling a slight rise in her stomach. Stepping back, he looked at her, noticing a small grin on her face.
Ariel? Are you?
As his words trailed off, he put a hand on her stomach.
It would appear so.
Ariel smiled, putting her hand on his.
How? It's only been a few hours.
Dane asked.
You forget, my love. Time moves differently here in my temple.
She grinned, reaching up to put her arms around his neck. Dane's face paled as he remembered the difference in time between his home and the temple.
How long has it been within Eusoria?
Ariel leaned over the balcony, seeing one of the many fountains of sand lining the temple's main hall.
From what the sand fountains say, it's been about 3 days.
Ariel casually replied, leaning back and realizing what Dane was asking.
3 days? I must return now.
Dane ran from her embrace, grabbing his shirt and hastily putting it on, fastening the buttons when Ariel's arms pulled around him and hugged him firmly.
Can't you stay just a little bit longer? The mirror of time has shown me that our child will be the one to rid the world of darkness. You don't need to study yourself into ruin,
she asked, laying her head on his neck and pulling her wings around him.
Ariel, my goddess, you have said that time moves differently here in your temple. I would stay for all eternity if I could, but there are those in Eusoria waiting for me. Our child may be the one to rid the world of darkness, but until then, I will study it so our child will know how to defeat it. I promise that I will return in 1 month.
Ariel sighed a long breath, pulling her arms around Dane tighter for a moment before letting him go and assisting with the buttons slowly.
I will hold you to that, Dane.
Ariel replied kindly, kissing him deeply. When Dane returned to the chapel, he found a very well-guarded caravan parked before it. Mars and Viren were standing on the front steps, arguing with whom Dane guessed to be a soldier from that caravan. As he neared, he could begin catching what Mars was saying.
But as I have explained multiple times, the Master is not currently present. There is no way of knowing when he will return.
Then I demand to be let into the building, where my soldiers and I will search for ourselves. This is an urgent matter that we must speak to your master about immediately.
The guard and the soldiers accompanying him to the steps drew their weapons. They were about to force their way past Mars and Viren when Dane appeared before them in a flash of bright light. His icy stare instantly stopped the soldiers, further making them back away as light hummed to life at the end of his staff.
What is the meaning of forcing your way into my house?
Dane asked, slamming the end of his staff on the marble steps, making a sheet of light wash over them. The guard who had spoken before switched the hold on his sword and pointed to Dane.
Are you the one called the White Mage?
He asked with a loud sneer. Dane locked eyes with him, the blank stare in Dane's eyes enough to make the guard swallow, switching his grip back.
I will ask again. Who are you? And why are you forcing your way into my house?
Dane demanded, every word said with slow force.
I will ask again. Who are you? And why are you forcing your way into my house?
Dane demanded, every word said with slow force. The guard relaxed his stance, producing a symbol from under his glove.
I am Triston, captain of the 8th Regiment to the—
Get to the point!
Mars shouted, quickly met by Dane's hard stare.
Let the man finish.
Dane answered with the same slow force he had spoken to the soldier with, before turning his attention back to the man, signaling to continue.
To the King of Zakuman, Leon Lionheart. We come seeking the aid of the Aurora as there are creatures made of shadow appearing. We understand this order is the most experienced in this matter, and we're commanded to speak with your leader at all costs.
Dane glared at the man for a long while, flexing his jaw as he thought. Eleanor exited the temple, dressed in her armor.
Master Mars, Master Viren, I heard a commotion. Is everything all right?
She asked, coming into view of the soldiers. Instantly, Triston's face distorted into a snarl, pointing his sword directly at her.
What is that traitor doing here?
He demanded. Dane turned to see who he meant, nodding to Eleanor in greeting.
Eleanor has been welcome here as a guard after being expelled from her knighthood, if I recall.
That's the story she told you? If you knew what kind of person she is, you would know how dangerous she can be.
Triston snapped, still pointing his sword at arm's length. Dane looked over his shoulder blankly, watching Eleanor grab her elbow and turn away.
She has proven herself reliable in the time I have known her,
Dane said, returning his attention to Triston.
You may come to regret your choice. Now answer me. Are you the White Mage or not?
I am Dane, the White Mage.
Triston eyed Dane and Eleanor, sheathing his sword with a shove.
We request your assistance with some creatures made of shadow that are appearing in Alneth. Our mages and knights can't seem to combat these creatures, and it's only becoming worse.
Does Lionheart still stand sentry over the grave of the Ragonians?
Yes. Why is that relevant?
Triston demanded, raising an eyebrow.
Tell your men to be ready to leave within the hour. I will go with you back to Zakuman.
Dane commanded, walking back into the chapel with Mars and Viren close behind.
Gather your shining rods and whatever spell books you need. Viren, find Orchid and Lotus. Tell them to meet me in the lab.
Mars and Viren split off as he walked quickly, almost toppling acolytes within the halls. When the twins walked in, they saw Dane gathering his notes, bottles of potions, and a small black crystal in his lab.
Oh, what is it this time? Is it something fun?
Orchid asked, perking up at the prospect as the twins walked in.
No, it isn't. You two will accompany me to Zakuman. There, we will face a powerful darkness, a stain on all humankind. You will help me study it.
Lotus huffed and rocked his head from side to side, cracking his neck as though bored.
Why should we help you with this? We've already told you how to find the root of any given darkness, haven't we? Besides, if it's as bad as you say, there won't be time for studying.
Regardless, we need to conquer it. This darkness is one of many great stains of humanity, and may lead to a solution for the darkness as a whole. We will need all the help you can give.
Orchid drooped her arms and hunched her back.
Oh, that sounds so boring. Why can't we just go take care of some omens like we always do with the acolytes?
She whined.
Because we will need your power. It can't be called an omen. It is worse.
As the three left the building, Dane saw Eleanor standing awkwardly near the main door.
You too, Dame Eleanor. We will need your help.
Master, I don't think that would be...
Now, Eleanor.
Dane commanded. Eleanor sighed, following them to the caravan and mounting a horse, catching the ire of Triston. Dane silenced his heated protest, reminding him that Eleanor was no longer under his command. With an agitated huff, Triston urged his horse to lead the caravan back to the Zakuman Mountains. Once they cleared the forest, Dane slowed his horse to walk level with Eleanor at the back of the procession, speaking only loud enough for her to hear.
What did the captain mean when he mentioned being dangerous? What haven't you told me?
The two of them rode in silence for a while, Eleanor's mind turning over and over until she sighed and relented.
My real name is Adia Eleanor Rosebane. I am originally from Pantheon, far north of Eusoria, above what you know as the Leviathan Crag mountain range.